The ships of the Galactic Confederation hung in Earth's orbit like silver fish in a blue pond. It was the year 2487, and for the first time in history, alien eyes looked down upon our world. Commander Ilara stood on the main deck of the flagship, her four-fingered hands clasped behind her back. Her skin shimmered with a faint purple glow, a sign of excitement among the Zithari. Earth was supposed to be just another dead world to catalog, but initial scans showed something unexpected. Ruins. "Prepare the landing vessels," she ordered. "I want boots on the ground within the hour." Her second-in-command, a tall Zithari named Trell, nodded. The Council expected nothing of value here. Just another primitive world where life failed to thrive. Ilara's inner eyelids blinked slowly. And yet they built cities. Let's see what remains of them. The landing party touched down in what was once called North America. Around them stretched the ruins of a city, crumbling concrete, rusted metal frames reaching toward the sky like bony fingers, and empty streets reclaimed by nature. Trees grew through cracked pavement, and animals scurried among the remains of human civilization. "Primitive indeed," said Trell, scanning a half-collapsed building. "These structures wouldn't survive even minor seismic activity on our world." Ilara walked forward, her steps light despite the heavy gravity of Earth. They used simple materials, yes, but look at the scale of it all. This species had ambition. A younger member of the team, Vexor, moved excitedly between ruins. Unlike other Zithari whose careers depended on confirming existing theories, Vexor had a reputation for challenging established views. This had made him unpopular among senior researchers, but caught Ilara's attention. "Commander, look at this." Vexor held up a small metal object, some kind of data storage device. Ilara took it carefully. "Upload it to the ship's computers. Let's see if we can extract anything useful." As the sun set on their first day on Earth, the team gathered in their base camp. Holographic displays showed their findings. Fragments of human history, technology, and culture. "According to our preliminary analysis," Trell reported, "humans achieved basic spaceflight, but never ventured beyond their own moon. Their technology was crude, relying heavily on fossil fuels and simple electronics. A textbook case of evolutionary failure," another scientist added. "They destroyed their environment before they could advance beyond planetary confinement." Vexor sat quietly at the edge of the group, studying a different set of findings on his personal device. Later that night, as the others slept, Ilara found Vexor still working. "You don't agree with their assessment," she said. It wasn't a question. Vexor looked up, surprised. "Commander, I found some inconsistencies." "Show me." He displayed images of various human artifacts. "These devices suggest capabilities beyond what we're attributing to them. And look at these satellite images. There are patterns to these ruins that don't make sense for a failed civilization." Ilara studied the evidence. "What are you suggesting?" "I think there's more to humanity than we're seeing. The Confederation's evolutionary models predict certain technological paths for all intelligent species. But what if humans didn't follow our expected pattern? What if they were different?" The commander was silent for a moment. Going against Confederation doctrine was risky. Yet in her centuries of exploration, she had learned that the universe rarely fit into neat categories. "Tomorrow, we expand our search," she finally said. "I want to see more of what these humans left behind." As Ilara returned to her quarters, she looked up at the night sky. Somewhere among those stars, the Confederation's leaders waited for her report, a report they expected to confirm their beliefs about human insignificance. Little did they know that beneath their feet lay secrets that would shatter everything the Confederation thought they knew about the universe and their place in it. The morning sun beat down on the Arizona desert as Vexor led a small team across the cracked earth. For 3 weeks, they had searched different locations, finding only more evidence of what the Confederation already believed. Humans were a primitive species who had barely achieved spaceflight before destroying themselves. "There's nothing here," complained one of the team members, wiping sweat from her blue-tinted forehead. just more sand and rocks. Vexor checked his scanner again. The readings show a large metal structure beneath us. It's deep, at least 50 meters down. Commander Ilara, who had chosen to join this particular expedition, studied the barren landscape. The surface shows no signs of construction. Exactly, Vexor said with excitement. If humans wanted to hide something, this would be the perfect place. Using their ship's beam technology, they cut through the earth, revealing a metal door embedded in stone. Unlike the rusted remains they have found elsewhere, this structure showed minimal decay. It's made from an alloy we haven't seen in other ruins, said Ilara, running her hand over the smooth surface. And look at these markings. A symbol was etched into the door, a circle with a triangle inside it. Below were words in human language. Our translation software says it reads Project Ascension. Authorized personnel only, Vexor said. With careful precision, they cut through the door. Cool air rushed out as they entered a dark corridor. Lights automatically flickered on as they moved forward, surprising the team. Still operational after all this time, Trell said, having joined them when they reported finding the door. Impossible. The corridor led to a vast room filled with technology unlike anything they had seen in other human ruins. Clean workstations, strange machines, and transparent screens lined the walls. Everything looked pristine, as if preserved in time. This facility must have been sealed completely before whatever disaster befell their civilization, Ilara said. Vexor approached what appeared to be a central console. As his fingers touched the surface, a flash of light erupted from the center of the room. The aliens jumped back, weapons ready. The light formed into the shape of a human man, three-dimensional and nearly solid-looking. "Welcome to Ascension Research Facility," the figure said. "I am Frank Morrison, Chief Research Director. Please identify yourselves." The team stared in shock. Ilara stepped forward cautiously. "I am Commander Ilara of the Galactic Confederation. Are you a recording?" The human figure tilted its head. "I am an artificial intelligence representation of Dr. Frank Morrison. I've been waiting in standby mode for 1 moment." The figure paused. "My systems indicate I have been inactive for 312 years. That's longer than expected." Trell moved closer to Ilara. "Commander, this technology is far beyond what our records indicate humans possessed. This contradicts everything in Confederation archives." Frank's projection studied them with interest. "You're not human. Fascinating. Our calculations predicted first contact would occur in 2184. We seem to be significantly off schedule." Vexor could barely contain his excitement. What was this facility for? This was one of 17 classified research installations dedicated to advancing human capabilities beyond conventional limits, Frank replied. This particular facility focused on teleportation technology and dark energy manipulation. Teleportation. Ilara repeated in disbelief. "The Confederation has only theoretical models for such technology." Frank smiled. "Would you like to see it in action? The systems appear to be in standby, but functional." At a nearby console, Frank's projection waved a hand. A circular platform in the corner of the room hummed to life. A small object on one side vanished in a flash of blue light and instantly appeared on another platform across the room. The aliens stared in stunned silence. "That's impossible," Trell whispered. "Our scientists say the energy requirements for such transportation would be substantial." "Yes," Frank interrupted. "That was true until we discovered how to harness dark energy efficiently. Would you like me to show you the rest of the facility?" Ilara looked at her team, then back at Frank. "Yes," she said firmly. "Show us everything." As they followed the holographic human deeper into the facility, Ilara made a quick decision. "Trell, not a word about this to Confederation Central yet. We need to understand what we're dealing with first." Trell frowned. "Commander, regulations clearly state." "I know the regulations," Ilara cut him off. "But something isn't right. The Confederation's entire understanding of human civilization appears to be wrong. I want to know why. For 3 days, Ilara and her team explored the underground facility, discovering wonders that challenged everything they believed about human civilization. Frank Morrison's hologram guided them through labs filled with technology that seemed impossible for a supposedly primitive species. This chamber housed our consciousness transfer research, Frank explained, as they entered a room with pod-like structures. By the time this facility was abandoned, we could move a human mind into a digital space or another biological host. Vexor ran his scanning device over the equipment. This is at least 5 centuries ahead of current Confederation capabilities. Impossible, Trell muttered, though his voice lacked conviction now. He had been saying that word often these past few days. Frank led them to a large circular room dominated by a 3-dimensional star map. When activated, it filled the space with glowing dots representing stars and planets. Our colonization efforts began in 2082, Frank said, as certain stars lit up in bright green. By 2150, humanity had established permanent settlements on 17 worlds across 12 star systems. Ilara's inner eyelids blinked rapidly in shock. That can't be right. The Confederation formed in 2300, and we were the first species to achieve interstellar travel. Frank smiled. History is often written by those who come later. Let me show you something else. The hologram led them to another section of the facility. A door slid open to reveal a separate control center. As they entered, a new holographic figure appeared, a human female with dark hair. "Welcome to Navigation Systems," the new hologram said. "I am Linda Garcia, Stellar Cartography Director." "Another eye," Vexor whispered excitedly. Ilara stepped forward. "Linda, Frank has shown us evidence that humans had interstellar travel centuries before our records indicate. Can you confirm this?" Linda's hologram nodded. "Of course. By 2137, we had developed the first generation of faster-than-light drives. By 2180, our colony ships could reach the Andromeda Galaxy in just under 7 years." Trell made a choking sound. The Andromeda Galaxy. Not even the Confederation has attempted such distances. Linda activated another display, showing massive ships leaving Earth's orbit. These colony vessels carried thousands of families to new worlds. This footage shows the departure of the Horizon Fleet in 2192. The images showed humans saying goodbye to Earth, boarding enormous ships that dwarfed anything in the Confederation fleet. The technology was clearly advanced, with energy signatures that made Ilara's scientific instruments struggle to analyze them. If humans were so advanced, Ilara asked, what happened to them? Why is Earth abandoned? Linda and Frank exchanged looks, as if deciding how much to reveal. Humanity didn't go extinct, Linda finally said. They left. She brought up a new star map, this one extending far beyond the Milky Way. Hundreds of green dots illuminated distant galaxies. What you're seeing is the migration path of humanity by the year 2200, Linda explained. Earth was becoming too small for what we were becoming. Vexor studied the map in awe. These settlements, some of these worlds are now claimed by Confederation species as their homeworlds. Precisely, Frank said. What you've discovered as ancient ruins on those planets were actually human colonies abandoned during the Great Migration. Ilara felt her world shifting beneath her feet. Are you saying that multiple Confederation species built their civilizations on the remains of human technology? Yes, Linda replied simply. And not just technology. Your understanding of mathematics, physics, even your medical sciences, all derived from what humans left behind. But our history says we developed these independently, Trell protested. Perhaps your historians found it easier to claim the achievements as their own, Frank suggested. Vexor had been quiet, scanning through data files on a nearby console. Commander, you need to see this. He pulled up documents showing meetings between early Zetheri explorers and human representatives, meetings dated nearly 400 years ago. The Confederation didn't discover humanity, Vexor said, his voice shaking. They knew about humans all along. They've been hiding this history deliberately. Ilara stared at the evidence, her mind racing. But why? Why erase humans from our history? Perhaps, Frank said quietly, because of what humans discovered out there among the stars. Something so significant that your leaders decided it was better forgotten. Word of the team's discoveries spread quickly among the research group, despite Ilara's efforts to keep things quiet. 2 weeks after finding the underground facility, a sleek black ship arrived from the Confederation Central. Special Agent Drez announced the tall, gray-skinned visitor. His species, the Vorlik, were known for their roles in Confederation intelligence. I've been sent to oversee your excavation. Ilara met him at the temporary base camp, away from the facility entrance. This is unexpected, Agent Drez. My reports have been thorough. Drez smiled, showing pointed teeth. The Council is very interested in your findings, particularly these intact structures you've discovered. That evening, Ilara called Vexor to her private quarters. I don't trust him, she whispered. The timing is too convenient. You think someone reported us? Vexor asked. Trell has been unhappy with my decision to investigate further before reporting everything. She paced the small room. From tomorrow, you and I will work in shifts at the facility. One of us must always be there. Inside the underground complex, Frank and Linda continued to reveal humanity's true history. Each new piece of information painted a clearer picture of a massive deception. These are communications between human diplomats and early Zithari explorers, Frank explained, showing records dated nearly 4 centuries earlier. Your people made first contact with humans in 2097. But our history says we achieved interstellar travel in 2278, Ilara said. A convenient lie, Linda's hologram replied. The Zithari reverse-engineered human technology after finding abandoned outposts. Most Confederation species did the same. Late one night, while working alone, Vexor discovered a hidden communication system behind a panel in the main lab. As he activated it, a new interface appeared, different from the ones Frank had shown them. What have you found? Frank asked, his hologram appearing beside Vexor. I'm not sure. It looks like messages between human outposts. Vexor spent hours decoding the communications, his excitement growing with each revelation. When Ilara arrived for her shift, she found him surrounded by holographic displays of text. Commander, these are the final communications between Earth and the colony worlds, he explained breathlessly. Humans didn't just leave, they were running from something. Ilara read through the messages. They spoke of the void between galaxies and what waits beyond the cosmic barrier. The final communications described a plan for humanity to evolve beyond physical form to confront some unnamed threat. They found something out there, Vexor said, something that terrified them enough to abandon everything they built. A new voice interrupted them. And that is precisely what the Confederation doesn't want you to know. They turned to see a new hologram, a stern-looking human man in a uniform different from Frank's or Linda's. Security Director Kevin Ward. The hologram introduced itself. My systems activated when you accessed the emergency protocols. What is it that the Confederation is hiding? Ilara demanded. The truth about what lies beyond our galaxy, Kevin replied. When humanity discovered it, they warned the early Confederation species. But instead of heeding the warning, your leaders decided it was better to take humanity's technology, claim it as their own, and pretend humans never existed. Why? Vexor asked. Fear, panic, or perhaps they simply didn't believe us, Kevin said. But I must warn you, you are in danger. There are 27 facilities like this one scattered across Earth. 3 have been destroyed in the past century by Confederation survey teams. Destroyed. Ilara gasped. But that would be destroying historical evidence. Exactly, Kevin said grimly. Agent Drez isn't here to help you document your findings. He's here to erase them. and anyone who knows too much. As if on cue, the Lara's communication device beeped. It was one of her team members at the camp. "Commander," the voice said urgently, "Drez has called for reinforcements. A destroyer-class ship just entered orbit. He says it's routine, but they're sending down heavy equipment." Kevin's hologram looked at them gravely. "You have very little time. You must find the other facilities before they do." Ilara and Vexor exchanged worried glances. What had begun as a simple archaeological expedition had become something far more dangerous. And far more important. "We need to move quickly," Ilara said, gathering essential equipment. "Kevin, can you tell us where to find the nearest facility?" The security eye's hologram nodded. "There's a major installation beneath what was once called Seattle. It contains something the others don't, something the humans called insurance." With Drez and his team busy setting up their equipment near the Arizona facility, Ilara, Vexor, and two trusted researchers slipped away on a small scout ship. They flew north, staying low to avoid detection. "What if we're caught?" asked one of the researchers, a young Zitheri named Mila. "We'll be charged with treason." "If what we've learned is true," Ilara replied, "then the real traitors are those who've hidden this knowledge for centuries." They reached the ruins of Seattle as the sun was setting. Unlike the desert facility, this one had an entrance hidden within the remains of a large building. Kevin had transmitted the access codes to Vexor's device. "Look at the size of this door," Vexor whispered as they approached a massive metal entrance built into the foundation of the ruined structure. "It's designed to admit something big." The door slid open with a hiss of preserved hydraulics, revealing a vast underground hangar. As lights automatically activated, they gasped at what stood before them. A sleek, silver ship sat in the center of the hangar. Unlike the bulky Confederation vessels, this craft had an elegant flowing design. It was clearly built for speed and stealth rather than brute force. The Horizon Seeker announced a new holographic figure that appeared beside them, an older human female. "I am Dr. Beth Collins, Project Director. Welcome to Sanctuary Site 1. "What is this place?" Ilara asked, staring at the ship in awe. "This is where we kept our insurance policy," Beth replied. "A fully functional human vessel preserved in temporal stasis, along with a living human pilot." "A living human," Vexor gasped. "After all this time." Beth led them to a transparent chamber near the ship. Inside, suspended in a blue field of energy, floated a human man. "Captain George Clark," Beth introduced. "One of our best pilots, kept in suspended animation until the right moment." "What moment?" Ilara asked. "The moment when the truth needed to return," Beth said simply. "I believe that time is now." Beth explained how to safely deactivate the stasis field. As they worked, she told them more about humanity's final days on Earth. "We didn't die out or destroy ourselves," she said. "We evolved. After centuries of technological advancement, we found ways to shed our physical forms and exist as energy beings. Most of humanity chose this path and left to explore the universe in ways physical bodies never could." "But why leave all this behind?" Mila asked, gesturing around the facility. "Insurance," Beth repeated. "We knew other species would follow our technological path. We left breadcrumbs, pieces of our knowledge scattered across many worlds, hoping the right civilization would find them and use them wisely." The stasis field began to power down, the human inside. Captain Clark slowly opened his eyes. When he emerged from the chamber, he was unsteady at first. He looked at the aliens with curiosity rather than fear. "How long?" were his first words. "Approximately 312 years, Captain," Beth told him. Clark nodded, taking this news with remarkable calm. "And the others? Did they make it beyond the barrier?" "All records indicate the transition was successful," Beth assured him. Clark turned to Ilara. "You're Zitheri, aren't you? I met your kind before. Good people." "Captain Clark," Ilara said, still struggling to believe she was speaking to an actual human. Your existence changes everything we thought we knew about our history. That's why I stayed behind, he replied. Some truths are too important to be lost. He walked to a control panel and activated a larger holographic display. A three-dimensional image of the galaxy appeared, with certain areas marked in red. What you need to know, Clark said gravely, is that humanity didn't leave without reason. We found something out there, something coming toward our galaxy, something that has destroyed countless civilizations before us. As they looked at the galactic map, a shadow seemed to creep in from beyond the edge, a darkness that consumed the stars in its path. The Confederation leaders know this, Clark continued. They've known for centuries. The question is, what are they planning to do about it? Alarms blared throughout the Seattle facility. On the security screens, they watched Confederation ships landing near the entrance. They found us, Mila said, fear in her voice. Captain Clark moved with surprising speed for someone who had just woken from centuries of sleep. We knew this might happen. That's why we built in contingencies. He led them deeper into the facility, to a room filled with communication equipment unlike anything the aliens had seen before. This is a quantum broadcasting array, Clark explained. It can override any communication system in the galaxy. The Confederation can't block it because they don't even understand the technology. Ilara's communicator beeped. It was one of her team members from the camp. Commander, came the urgent voice. Agent Drez has declared your team rogue. They're saying you've stolen classified artifacts. There's an arrest order for all of you. We don't have much time, Vexor said. Clark nodded grimly. Then we'll have to tell everyone at once. He turned to Ilara. Are you ready for this? Once we broadcast the truth, there's no going back. The Confederation, as you know it, will never be the same. Ilara thought about everything she had learned, the lies, the hidden history, the looming threat. We have no choice. People deserve to know. Together, they prepared the broadcast. Clark provided data files showing humanity's true history. Vexor compiled evidence of the Confederation's cover-up. Ilara recorded a message explaining what they had discovered. This is Commander Ilara of the Galactic Confederation, she began, her voice steady despite her fear. What I am about to tell you will change everything you believe about our history and our future. As Clark activated the quantum array, their message spread across all Confederation channels, overriding regular broadcasts on every planet and ship. Billions of beings watched as Ilara revealed the truth about humanity. Humanity didn't die out as our history teaches, she explained. They were far more advanced than we are even now. The technology that forms the foundation of our civilization, from faster-than-light travel to medical advancements, was not developed by our ancestors. It was reverse-engineered from what humans left behind. The broadcast showed evidence of human outposts on worlds that later became Confederation homeworlds. It showed meetings between early Zetheri explorers and human representatives centuries before the official discovery of interstellar travel. Our leaders have hidden this truth for generations, Ilara continued. But there is something more important you must know. The broadcast shifted to Captain Clark, a living human speaking directly to the Confederation citizens. My name is Captain George Clark of Earth, he said. My species departed this region of space not out of failure, but because we discovered something approaching from beyond the galaxy. Entities that consume civilizations that reach a certain technological threshold. He showed the same dark shadow creeping across the galactic map. Humanity chose to evolve beyond physical form and confront this threat directly, Clark explained. We left behind knowledge for those who would follow, hoping you would be ready when the time came. Throughout Confederation space, the reaction was immediate. On hundreds of worlds, citizens took to the streets, demanding answers from their leaders. Some planets declared independence from the Confederation. Others called for the immediate removal of officials who had perpetuated the lies. Back at the facility, they monitored the chaos unfolding across the galaxy. It's working, Vexor said in awe. People are listening. Before they could celebrate, the facility shook violently. On the security screens, they saw Confederation forces using heavy weapons to break through the outer doors. "They're trying to stop us," Mila cried. Clark smiled confidently. "They're too late. The truth is already out there." He moved to another control panel. "And I still have one more card to play." He activated a sequence that made the entire facility hum with power. The Horizon Seeker's engines began to glow. "What are you doing?" Ilara asked. "Giving us a way out," Clark replied. "And giving the Confederation something they can't ignore. A working human ship ready to launch." 6 months after the broadcast that changed everything, Ilara stood on the observation deck of the Horizon Seeker. The ship had become both her home and the headquarters of the newly formed Interstellar Alliance. The old Confederation had fallen apart within weeks of the revelations. Too many lies had been exposed, too many truths revealed. In its place, something new had emerged, a government built on the pursuit of truth rather than power. "Commander," Vexor called as he entered the deck. She still used her old title, though her role was very different now. "The delegation from Proxima is ready to join the Alliance." Ilara nodded. "That makes 17 systems now. Not bad for 6 months of work." After their escape from Earth, they had traveled to neutral territories where sympathetic leaders offered protection. As more evidence of the Confederation's deception came to light, support for their cause grew rapidly. "How are the excavations going?" she asked. Vexor smiled proudly. "We've identified human settlements on 23 worlds previously thought to be untouched before Confederation discovery. The evidence is undeniable now." Across the galaxy, teams were uncovering the true extent of humanity's reach. Worlds that claimed to be the birthplace of certain technologies were now confirmed to have been human colonies long before. Captain Clark entered, followed by 2 more humans who had been awakened from stasis chambers found in other facilities. Together with the heirs, Frank, Linda, Kevin, and Beth, they formed a living connection to Earth's past. "The Horizon Seeker is fully restored," Clark announced. "All systems functional. She's ready for her true purpose." Ilara turned to look at the vastness of space beyond the viewport. "Are we really going to do this? Follow humanity into the unknown?" Clark nodded. "That was always the plan." Earth and its facilities weren't just museums or time capsules. They were waiting rooms, places for us to wait until the right civilizations found us and were ready to join us. In the ship's main hall, representatives from all 17 Alliance systems had gathered. Ilara addressed them, her voice steady and confident. "For centuries, we believed a lie about our place in the universe. We thought we were the first, the pioneers of interstellar travel. Now we know we are part of a longer journey, one that humanity began long ago." She activated a holographic display showing coordinates that stretched beyond their galaxy. "Captain Clark and the other humans have shared with us the path their species took. They've invited us to follow when we're ready." A murmur ran through the crowd. This was both exciting and terrifying. The ultimate journey into the unknown. "But what about the threat?" asked one representative. "The entities that humanity fled from." "Not fled," Clark corrected gently. "Humanity evolved to confront them, and now they've sent us an invitation to join them in that fight." The decision was unanimous. The Horizon Seeker would lead a small fleet of ships beyond the edge of the galaxy, following the trail humanity had left. Others would stay behind to build the Alliance and prepare their civilizations for what might come. As the ship prepared for departure, Ilara returned to the observation deck. Earth grew smaller behind them, a blue dot that had changed everything she thought she knew. "Listen," Vexor said suddenly, adjusting the communication array. "I'm picking up something." Faint signals came through, patterns too regular to be natural. They originated from deep space, exactly along the path they were about to follow. "Can you clean it up?" Ilara asked. After some adjustment, the signals became clear. They were words, human words, being broadcast across the void. "We are waiting for you at the edge," the message said. "The journey is just beginning." Ilara looked at Clark, who smiled with tears in his eyes. "They made it," he whispered, "and they're still out there." As the Horizon Seeker accelerated toward its destiny, Ilara reflected on how a simple archaeological expedition had led to this moment. The ruins of a supposedly failed species had become the foundation for a new age of discovery and cooperation among the stars. Beyond the viewport, the galaxy stretched out before them, and somewhere beyond it, humanity waited with open arms.